Shalom Evracha, welcome to the weekly Shiur and Zera Shimshon. Today is Thursday, Parsha Matos Massei, Chav Daled L'Chodesh Tammuz Tavshin Pei Vav. Today marks my mother Alea Shalom's first yahrzeit from the Yom HaKivura, which took place Chav Daled Tammuz Tavshin Pei Hey. May the limud of Zera Shimshon be Le'ilah Nishmasa, Teit Nishmasa, Tzerura B'Tzera Chaim, the Neshama of Basher Basher Yosef, should have an aliyah in the Lamas Halyonim. We are standing in Yemei Bein in the 3 weeks, which begin with the day of Shmiras Haluchos, which came as a direct result of the Cheta Egel, and come to an end on the day that the Meragdim came back on Tisha B'Av. In between these two events, we have the Yemei Bein Hamtzarim, the 3 weeks, which are times to be masaking those Averas. Let's hope, Beis Hashem Yisborach, through learning this piece of Zera Shimshon, we can take out an inspiration to understand the Chayvas Hashah, how to be mesakein the Chet of the Ayin Gimel Lamed. Zog Zera Shimshon something beautiful. Here in Parshas Massei Ois Hey, the Pasuk says, a famous Chazal, when you have a person that kills somebody else, b'shoigeg, then this roitzeach nefesh b'shkoga has to go to the Aramiklat, and the sentence is that he has to be there ad mois hakohen hagadol, until the kohen hagadol passes away. This roitzeach, this murderer b'shoigeg, has to be there until that day. Why is that the deadline? Why is it that the kohen gadol's life is the time when this roitzeach is going to be in Golos Hatam? The Kohen Gadol should have davened for his generation that such things should never happen, and because he didn't, that's why the oynish of the Ritzeach is dependent on the death of the Kohen Gadol. Says the Zera Shimshon, I want to elaborate about this concept, how important it is for a person to daven for Klal Yisrael. Chazal, a famous Gemara. Ashrei Adam, fortunate is the person that he learns and he harvests in Torah Kedosha. Number one. Number two, and throughout his lifetime, he brought nachas ruach to the Eibishter. Number three, Gadol b'shem toiv, v'nifta b'shem toiv. During his life, he had a good name, and he passed away with a good name. V'alav amar shloima toiv shein mishem and toiv. That's the Chazal. Frank Zera Shimshon, what does it mean exactly? V'oise nachas ruach liyotzroi. How does a person make nachas ruach liyotzroi? If it means he does the mitzvahs, why don't we say he does the mitzvahs? Another question. Asher Misha Gadol b'Shem Toiv, he has a good name. Why is that important? Why does that matter? And we find some tzaddikim, we're not so popular. We talk about a popularity contest over here. What does it mean, Asher Misha Gadol b'Shem Toiv? Shadav is a ton of boy. Doesn't depend on the person. The Asher Shiyat Tzadik Gomo V'Layim Zachein. There are tzaddikim out there that don't have good names. They stand up for what's right, and people are upset. So how is this person fulfilling this Gadol b'Shem Toiv? We say Toiv Shem Mishem and Toiv. The day that he passes away is better than the day that he was born. What does that mean? Zog Zera Shimshon pshat like this via Shloima. The Medaber Adam, who is this person that's Oise Nachas Ruach Leyotzroi? Adam Choshuv. Not just his Mekayim mitzvahs. We talk about another attribute of this individual. Hamispalel Tomet Alat Tzibur. He always davens for Klal Yisrael. And somebody that davens for Klal Yisrael is somebody that's Oisa Nachas Ruach Leyotzroi. Gives the Eibishter pleasure. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu misavel tfilason shel tzadikim. The Eibishter has a taiva. The Eibishter has a desire. He wants the tzaddik to keep davening. So if a person limits his davening to the bakashos in the Shemona Esrei and to his personal needs, that he's not bringing so much nachas to the Eibishter, but somebody that expands his horizons, and he finds out about this person needs Yeshua and that person needs Yeshua. And then he davens for the Golos Bechlal, and he davens for Eden in Eretz Yisrael, and he davens for Eden in America, Eden in Europe, and he davens for the shit crisis, and he davens for this, and he davens for that. This person keeps on davening. Therefore, he's somebody that's oisei nachas ruach leyotzroik, that Hashem has a desire to hear its tefillos. Oh, shebispalal ala cheirim. This is what we talk about. This person is ashrei. This person is fortunate. Who gadol b'shem toiv. This person is raised b'shem toiv. Why? Shedoire kulei zakai. This person is davening for the generation that the olam should be healthy, the olam should be well, and the olam should serve the Eibishter. The olam should be living on a higher level, connected to Hashem Yisbarach. And this person's generation will be a Dor Shekulei Zakai. Like the story of Reb Shua ben Levi, that they said to him, was there ever a keshes, was there ever a rainbow in your lifetime? Because if you'd be a real tzaddik, then a keshes will not be nira. The b'chaya tzaddik ain't a choyte ba'olam. In the lifetime of a tzaddik, nobody sins. So we talk about a tzaddik over here that davens and begs the Eibishter that everybody should be erlich, everybody should do what's right, and therefore he has a shem toiv, because he'll come to Shemayim. Nobody could say, "Hey, those rainbows in your lifetime." There was never a rainbow; it was never necessary, because the whole generation was elevated through this person's tefillas. This person won't be punished for the generation sins, because there's no sins. It's a generation of good as a result of his tefillah. He passes away with a good name, meaning the generation is in a good place because of him. This is what the pasuk means. Toiv shem toiv mishem and toiv toiv yom amaves b'yom yivoldoi. The day he dies is a better day than the day he was born. Why? Shev'yom yivoldoi bala olam medar chayev. He comes into this world, into a generation that is dinim, there's sins, there's pagomim. But the day he passes away, it's a different world. He elevated the entire world. He brought spirituality into the world through his davening and through his elevation and through his example. So Toiv Yom Amavis Yom Avolday. It's not referring to the person himself. It's talking about the world. The world became a better place because of this individual. When he came to this world, the world needed help, needed shmira. The day he passes away, a door that's all righteous. Fathers always daven for their children. Always, fathers daven for their children. It's incumbent upon a father to daven. The concept of Godol, as we know from Shimon Shkop and Akdama, means that in him he has and he carries a lot more. A person that's small, in his tefillas, he only includes himself, his close family. That's a small person. A person that becomes bigger means he has within him a sense of achrayas for the entire generation. And therefore, when he davens, he's davening for the entire dor. But the dor should be dor shekulei zakai. The dor should be elevated. The dor should be spiritually inclined. That's called Adam Godol. He's bigger. He's larger. He encompasses a lot more. And this is what we talk about. This is the ashrei, a person that davens for the generation. And we've said many times the vot for the first bel zerov. But on Monday and Thursday, we say a bunch of yiratzain, that we should build a Beis Hamikdash, yiratzain, that the kaim b'nechach b'Yisrael. And then we conclude with Achenu kol Beis Yisrael and Esunim Batzara v'Shivya. And we don't begin this final tefillah with Yehiratzain, said the Bel Zerav. Why not? Why don't we say Yehiratzain Mefnech Hashem Elokeinu She'achenu kol Beis Yisrael and Esunim Batzara v'Shivya Hamakim Mirachem Aleim? He said the answer is because when a person davens for Achenu kol Beis Yisrael, he becomes a godod. He becomes filled with godless, that he feels the pain of other Yidden. Then naturally he is creating a Ratzon in Shemayim. You don't have to say Yehi Ratzon. It's automatic. It happens. And this is the Oise Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi. Gadol b'Shem Tov. He's a person that's a Gadol, and he has a Shem Tov because the whole generation is different. He has impact to the generation. And this was the hate of the Kohen Gadol that didn't daven enough, that these things shouldn't happen in his generation. He wasn't a Kohen Gadol. He wasn't big enough. He didn't have in mind with the right kavanah. He wasn't so bothered about chatoim that other people are doing, and therefore is punished. That the Ritzeach Nefesh B'Shkaga stays in Golos until he passes away. Continues the Zera Shimshon, and this will tie it in to Yemei Bein HaMetzorim. Over there, Yevon HaKosov, Moshe Rabbeinu says to Aaron HaKohen after the Chet HaEgel, Ma'aseh lecha amazeh ki heveisa alav chata gedola. What did you do, Aaron HaKohen? Says Moshe Rabbeinu to his brother, that you brought upon them this terrible avera of the Egel. Frag the Zera Shimshon, Shrei Nefia Emes lo shaykh lashad zel Aaron. Aaron is guilty of the Chet HaEgel. Why? He threw gold into the fire, but naturally nothing should have come out. Only because the witchcraft of people there that caused the fire should produce a golden calf, it was successful in their eyes. What does that have to do with Aaron HaKohen? Well, how could you point fingers at Aaron HaKohen and say, Ki avesa alav the kama Moshe, you brought it? Aaron HaKohen is not guilty of this. He never brought the chait. Says Zera Shimshon, you know what caused the Chet HaEgel? Listen to these words. On the fact that Aaron made the Egel. He should have kept davening for Klal Yisrael in those 40 days. Save these people from their Yetzer Hara. If such a thing happened, it must be there was a pagam in the tefillahs of Aaron HaKohen. He was then the manik. Moshe was in Shemayim. Aaron should have davened that such a thing should never happen. Save Klal Yisrael from the Yetzer Hara. Because he didn't daven, so it's cool that he brought this Avera. And this is the beginning of Yemei Bein HaMetzorim. It happened at Chet HaEgel. It came because of a lack of tefillahs for Klal Yisrael. Let's learn one more paragraph. The Eibishter wanted to punish Aaron HaKohen. Let's learn the Eibishter wanted to take away Aaron HaKohen's children from this world. There was a gezerah on Aaron HaKohen that he should chas v'shalom lose his children. And Moshe Rabbeinu interceded and davened for Aaron HaKohen, and he only lost 2 children, Nadav and Avihu. And Elazar Vasama survived. Why is that? Why should that be the punishment for Aaron HaKohen? And the answer is because Aaron HaKohen davened for his children, but he didn't daven enough for Klal Yisrael. On his sublime level, there was a pagam. So the Eibishter, this is not the way it's supposed to be. A Gadol B'Yisrael doesn't differentiate between his own children and somebody else. Since there was a differentiation, so there's a punishment, there's a chroin af at Aaron HaKohen, that Chas v'Shalom he should lose his children. And this happened in the beginning of the Yemei Bein HaMetzorim. And this is the Parsha we read in Yemei Bein HaMetzorim. And this is the eternal message over here that the Heilige Zera Shimshon is teaching us. A Yid has to feel achrayus for Klal Yisrael. A Yid has to daven for Klal Yisrael. Every Shemona Esrei, we daven the 19 brachos, they all b'lashon rabbim. We don't daven our only personal bakashas. Our personal bakashas are for Klal Yisrael. Yidden should be held with Bana, Chaya, Mazoyne, Reviche. We are worried about Klal Yisrael, their physical being, their spiritual being, and this is the Christ every Yid has, and this is called the gadlus of a Yid, that he knows to focus on Klal Yisrael, to be a Klal Yisrael Yid. When we become Klal Yisrael Yidden, then we promote this idea, and then we we bring Nachas Ruach to the Eibishter. When we bring Nachas Ruach to the Eibishter, then Yimiyat Hashem, the Eibishter will hear our tefillahs and be Mezakek Klal Yisrael with Bona, Chaya, Mazoyne, Reviche. Klal Yisrael will be helped with all the Yeshuas and all the Refuas and all the Zara Chai V'Kiyama that we're looking for, and ultimately we'll be Zoicha to the Bias Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Meher B'Imenu. A good Shabbos and Mesuras Toivas Zechusei Agadol HaKadosh Yagan Aleinu.